Hey, Sparkle Girls.
Hi, Sparkles.
Woo!
Sparkle,
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 sparkle.
sparkle.
I'm Gwendolyn.
I'm Jeannie.
I'm Giovanna.
We are the
Welcome to the
Sparkle
Sparkle
Girls.
Show.
Sparkle.
What's
So,
exciting in your world
oh my goodness, I
today?
had such a big week, you guys. Hang on. I had such a big week. Um, Started out with like we're talking about breaking the old patterns and like, oh, I have a deadline and I need to get the Sparkle Show out when we say, and and I was like, no, screw that. And I just felt the moment. And that day, I had this like ginormous heart episode where my heart misfires. It's not a heart attack, but it's a misfiring and it feels pretty awful. And it started during the legendary Masters call. The Masters, like Janet from New Zealand, Chrissy from Virginia, Dawn from Las Vegas, and Ryan from Palm Springs stayed 2 extra hours after the community call was over to just make sure be with me till I could get it to stop. And
Oh,
and then Nora Dornbush gave me this incredible reading about like this the false belief at the core of it, and that it will I do have the power to make it stop. And what is the false belief? And I felt right in the spot where it misfires, I felt this little black ooh, and it was belief that I was doomed. There was nothing that there was just certain doom for me that was really deep. And so that didn't get me anywhere. Feeling into that, releasing that, putting love, light into that, and then it went even further because, this can be fixed with a procedure. Well, I changed my health insurance from the broad kind that where you can go anywhere to the narrow kind where you have to go within a network, which is in your own area. And it turns out in my area, this it's known for botching surgeries. It's not really a surgery, but still it's just terrible, terrible. And the people that I want are elsewhere. So then there was this whole thing of the like, oh, when I can get the money, the thousands of dollars it's going to be to get back into that network, and it just snowballed so fast. And and so the
This is,
first thing,
oh, yeah.
yeah. So then I just decided, okay, I'm getting back into the big network. I'm completely abundant. I'm never going to think that I can't do anything ever that way. And but I was getting ready for this performance. I couldn't the day of the main rehearsal, I couldn't rehearse because about the heart thing had happened. I was so weak. And I was just not feeling well. Like my heart wasn't going off, but it just wasn't right. It just didn't feel good. I didn't feel good. And yesterday was the day of the performance. And I went outside and I felt great. And I went, oh my God, ever since I've gotten these new windows that don't leak like the old ones, I have not opened my windows. I didn't used to need to. And so I have been asphyxiating myself since last October. And all I had to do was open a window, and I'm just so freaking high on oxygen. I think oxygen is like the biggest high there is. I feel so good. I can't believe how I woke up with energy. All my cells, I get this feeling in my cells where every cell is just this powder puff of delight and just feeling so good and gorgeous. So I just had to share that one about the breath and the oxygen.
You
that
breathed in the truth of who you are. It
yes,
showed up as fresh
yes,
oxygen, but you let go of all
Mhm.
those old stories that
yep,
said something was wrong
Yeah,
with your heart.
yep,
Nothing was wrong. Nothing needs to be fixed.
yeah,
You remembered who you are. What if your heart was being recalibrated to the truth of who you are because
yeah,
you've identified yourself now as that? And there's a different frequency,
yeah.
there's a
ah,
different rate of beats and pulse and vibration that
Nora had
go
mentioned
with
that
that
actually.
new identity. And it's
I
so you were being shown how this all snowballs
Yeah.
when we don't, when we're not conscious in the now moment of who we actually are. And
Yes.
we allow
yeah,
conditions and unlike love to start going in our mind and convoluting the truth of who we are and staying in the moment and coming back to it. And it's the story I shared with you of how I was very quickly shown how I create, but in a way of how I got lost in a creation, right? So I get the text from my beloved sister.
Right. The one from last week. But I
pull up the judgments from the past of,
right.
oh my gosh, and all this stuff. And then my beautiful husband comes in and he says he's going to take care of it. But then I pull up judgments from and stories from the past saying, oh my gosh, but why do I have to do this and all this stuff? And then my mom, my beautiful mom comes in, and then the guilt and the shame starts coming in over a simple task that I was being asked to complete. But all the stories started piling on, and all these people and situations started getting involved until I realized that when you're not present to the now, when you're pulling in the past judgments or the future anxieties or whatever, does this mean that this is now going to occur all the time? Instead of staying present to the now and seeing the calls for love and then the responses. When my husband walked in and said, I'll go do it, if I had stayed present in the moment, I could have said, instead of bringing in the judgments, I could have said, oh my God, how beautiful. The universe just sent me the response to love.
Right.
And then I would have done that. But it's
I
all
only have
the
to
old
send
stories.
the simple code.
It's
That's
all the
the
old
power,
stories. And then you
power
get
of the
lost
breath.
in these veils that you've created around everything, instead of breathing into the present moment of now and seeing through the heart instead of the head.
Yes, very true. And that breath brings you into the now. That's why it's so important to be in the now, because you're creating the next moment instead of, you only bring up what you know, right? You're creating new. That's creating. What are you creating? This is my reality. What are you creating? I'm creating a new now moment in this beautiful love and this beautiful breath. And we take sometimes this breath, the oxygen, like you said, for granted. Like, oh, I need to get this. I got to be busy. Wait, meditation. Do you know what that is? Taking a deep breath, this oxygen that is around us, it's free. Like the sun shining, it's free. Like, and the water you drink, like these things are just abundance. And when you start enjoying all these things, everything else comes alive, right? Like,
well, and the breath, brings that life force to you. And when you take that deep breath, that's that taking a moment to remember who you are, because this whole game of life is best played. The highest level of life wants to be played only in the now moment, because that's where true creation, where everything is. And the breath allows you to stay there. And that's what I didn't do in those moments. And then I saw how everything just grew bigger and bigger and more convoluted. And
it happens so fast now.
It happened so fast, and it was so perfect.
Thank God.
Because I can see when I don't breathe myself present. When I don't breathe myself into the present moment of now, that's when the veils start coming over my eyes. And then I go, oh my God, why is this always happening to me?
But Giovanna, two things.
And it's like, no, it's not. It's just stay present, because it's not, it's happening for me to show me I am the creator. And if I stay present, there's just love coming through.
Yes.
That was in the call on Tuesday. Sally mentioned, well, your heart is hurting because of your son. And I got upset and was crying. And, it's like, well, that does really hurt. And then Nora was saying, but your son is you. You're not loving yourself. He is a mirror. This is you. It's only you.
Yeah.
And two other things I want
the old story that says that he's a certain way. And if you repeat that story, it becomes the present moment. And it's there again. Where if you're just like, oh my God, that's the old script. It doesn't exist.
Loving you loves him. Loving you loves it all.
And loving him loves me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then my insight came from when you were talking about, like, remember the story of the bear coming in? It almost seemed like, were you having a bear moment coming into your house and feeling all overwhelmed, and the bear coming in and going, rah, 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 right? Oh, you
Right.
take
And
your
that was the
basket, let's
windows
go.
closed too. The windows were afraid of the bear, you know? That was part of the having the windows closed. The cold, yes,
Mm.
but mostly the bear. So, yes.
And so the bear is like, don't be afraid of me. I am you. I'm you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Next time, invite me in
exactly.
for a picnic instead.
And Giovanna, you were talking about how the particles get so excited because now they can play in a new way because of us being
Yes.
who we are,
Yep.
you know?
And everything around you, like every being around you, everything, like nature, like beings seen and unseen, all of it gets to play in your, like, in your energy,
Yeah.
being in this love energy. They don't want to be on the sidelines going like, more me, for me, for me. They want to play. Yay.
Yeah. Well, because you're not only seeing yourself and your joy and the truth of who you are, but that vision is in your entire field of awareness, and everything must respond to that in
Right.
that frequency
Yes.
as you hold that frequency.
Permeating the entire universe.
Yeah. Just ripples
Yeah.
out.
Jeannie,
I
did
always,
you go ahead?
no, I always take my deep breath, and then I always like do appreciation. And then I always then expand it out to everyone. So within moments, I just take those deep breaths. And as I take a deep breath, I then lift my spirit, thinking of, I appreciate this, I appreciate that. And then I just imagine it just rippling out to everyone around us, and that they're feeling it too. So it's just like,
Yeah.
I love that. And I've been
Yeah.
practicing a similar thing where if I get into one of those spaces where I'm starting to pull up an old script or something, I just, like, all of a sudden I'll just be like, "Oh my God, I love dogs. I love fuzzy butts. I love, like, all, like, the fuzzy butts. I love walking behind them and seeing their little joyous, I just start riffing on everything I love.
Oh,
Like,
that's
oh my
yeah,
God,
yes,
amazing.
just love a warm shower. I
yes,
love,
I
I
love
mean,
that.
and it just, all of a sudden, you're just like in that moment of appreciation and gratitude where everything
Mhm.
is, because you're
Mhm.
in that
yeah,
moment of
yeah,
now, just appreciating, like, oh my gosh, I appreciate the sunshine. I appreciate the rain. I appreciate, the
yes,
breeze,
yeah, yeah,
everything that you just love, and you just bring it into your conscious awareness, and then you can't even remember what it was that was going to set you into an old script that you
hmm,
don't
Yeah.
want to play
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
yes,
So,
yeah,
Jeannie, you
And
were talking
yeah.
about breathing fresh air in the freezing New York winters.
Oh, so I have a
I would
magical
love to
story.
hear. I would
I
love to hear
lived
that
in New
one.
York City, and we lived in right in front of the UN building in Manhattan. It's a place called Tudor City, and we were on one of the top stories of this co-op apartment building. And so the heat would rise, and we had controls that could be, on or off, or we'd turn it off, but the heat would still rise. So we were getting a lot of heat. So I said, I'm just going to open the windows. And we had windows on, coming in from the north and the west or whatever. And oh my gosh, all of a sudden we're sitting in the living room and the clouds started coming through our apartment, and we were sitting in the clouds.
Because you're up that
It was,
high.
yeah, it was. Well, it was also, probably a foggier type day,
oh
weather.
my
It was
goodness,
actually, I don't know if it was evening or day, but I was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is just the opening of the windows to get some fresh air to cool, because it was starting to get kind of warm and stuffy. And we
Yeah.
just opened the windows, and the clouds you could see the pattern. They were rolling in one window and rolling out the other window.
oh,
And we
that's
were just there, and
cool.
we're like, this is beyond magic. And these moments in life and this is way before I was conscious of
Yeah.
any,
Yeah.
I had not started my spiritual path, but It's
Yeah.
these breathtaking moments that life wants to deliver in every moment. And it's true. It can be every moment of your life of just having, like, I mean, how fun. The clouds wanted to dance and play in my living room, and I allowed it in.
Yeah. Oh my
Oh my
goodness.
Just through the taking of a breath, right? It was
And you were
showing
in your
up as
present
me opening.
moment, or
Oh
you would have
yeah, it was
your
showing up
awareness.
as opening windows,
Yeah.
but it was me breathing more of life in, and life is like, oh, let's send her some clouds to dance and play, and oh,
Oh,
Oh
it's
my
fantastic.
gosh.
that's amazing.
You know, like
Really
dancing on
beautiful.
dancing on a cloud, darling.
Yeah. Dancing through the
Completely.
Oh my
It
God.
was
I could see you just like
perfect.
going
Oh
around
yeah.
dancing in them for sure.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And it's these moments of bliss that are delivered to us. Are we awake and aware? Are we breathing in the present moment of now and going, oh my gosh,
Like this
look
moment.
at what's happening?
And I love saying like the Neville
Yes.
Goddard
Yes.
thing is,
Every
isn't it
moment.
wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? I've been saying that a lot lately, and thank you, thank you, thank you. I've just been, one day I said it like, and then that day I went, I think I told you ladies, I went to lunch, and all of a sudden I'm walking in and this lady comes up and was like, Giovanna. And I'm like, I don't know who this lady is. She goes, yeah, remember me from some workplace back when I was like, I don't know, 17. And I don't want to say how old I am, but that was like a long, long time ago. And she goes, you look exactly the same as you did then. So I look exactly like I did when I
Wow.
was 18 or 17. And I was just like,
Fun.
You
oh
were a
wow, I'll take
teenager.
it. I'll take it. Like that's, I feel like that's what
Yeah.
the consciousness is us being, it's youthful, right? Like we're very,
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
totally something like, I mean, isn't it wonderful that I look
yes,
as young as I did when I was a
yes. Isn't it
teenager?
wonderful? Yeah.
As a teenager. Wow.
And the energy, like
Yeah.
I can keep up with my 2-year-old grandson, kind of.
Yeah.
He's a toddler and he's into
Well, that
everything.
sounds like a good topic. The eternal now, the eternal now body that stays in the now.
Yeah.
You guys, this was so fun. So fun.
You shine so bright, you sparkle, you are the love. You shine so bright, you sparkle, 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 sparkle,
Right,
sparkle.
love you, Sparkle Girls.
Love you, Sparkles.